Hello, I'll be giving my informative speech on the topic that I chose, which was dystopian genre. Now, the reason I chose this topic was because I've always been a fan of the dystopian genre in literature, movie series, all that, and I felt like, as a person, it really showed me like a different view of the world and what is happening currently. So I wanted to inform people of my not only my point of view, but also do some research on this topic to see why it's so popular in literature, but also how it shapes us to see how our community and society works. Now, for example, for some people, the movie The Hunger Games, or my personal favorite, The Matrix, those are really great examples to show what the dystopian genre is. Now, the dystopian genre is basically a society or world that is suffering a great deal or suffering from injustice by some higher person that's just able to control them. Like, for example, in the Hunger Games, it was those people that were punishing the lower people for trying to rebel, and therefore the game started. Now, the reason why this genre is so important to us as society is that it sends a message for us to that we need to stay focused at some points. It also changes your point of view on how this our society works and how imperfect it is. And I feel like that's really important for us to stay focused on and understand as a community. Now, I'll be giving two main points in this speech. My first point is how dystopian genre applies to us as a society and reflecting our behavior in the end. Now, my second one is why dystopian literature is a warning to us as a community and that it can be imperfect at many times in our lives. Now, I would like to begin telling you why the dystopian genre is so important to our society. The dystopian genre is overall an interesting topic, given that it has a lot of people reading it, and it's just a type of genre that we find very interesting in general. But I love that it kind of hides a warning in those words saying, hey, this can happen at any time. Like, this could be currently happening and you don't even realize it, or it could happen later and you can catch on to that. And I feel like that's really important because it gives you a helpful look on how everything is running currently and shows you if you need to start standing up and doing something about it, because it might seem normal to you at first, but once you just read a dystopian genre and see, wait, these two are adding up together. And I feel like that's really important for us as a society to see that these things can happen to us. It's not like in other places and these movies and genres and stuff. Just, it can happen to us, and some of us believe that we oh, this can't happen to me, it won't happen, but it does, and we don't even know it ourselves. Now, the dystopian genre is also something that can be considered a coming of age. As we've seen in most of the dystopian genre is teenagers, mostly teenagers. It shows how, as teenagers grow up, I'm still 17, I haven't turned 18 quite yet, so I'm not an adult. And I feel like the dystopian genre kind of shows me how the world works without me having to witness it firsthand and not having to experience it myself. Now, after all these reasons I've stated, I would like y'all to remember the dystopian genre can be a work of fiction, but it can also be a work of reality. Now, overall, the dystopian genre is, at the end of the day, mostly a form of literature that is fiction. But at the same time, it can really show you, at the end of the day, that our society isn't perfect. Now, another example I'm going to give you is zombie apocalypse. For example, The Walking Dead. Now, that is very, very, like, unrealistic. Even if something like that could happen, we all think it's unlikely, but it's still, like, the zombies at the end of the day weren't entirely threats. It was other people. You could see how they fought, like, against each other, and although zombies were a problem, the other humans were, and it showed the suffering that they had to endure with the zombies and with other people that they used to call, like, their own and stuff. Okay, so at the end of the speech, and overall, I just hope that when you're reading a dystopian genre book or movie, series, whatever, I hope that you remember that this can happen to us as a society. And I feel like this genre is very important, not only because it's interesting, but also because it informs us that this ain't normal and something needs to be done at a given time. And it helps, like, growing teenagers see how the world works without having to go through the hardship of experiencing it themselves. Overall, I hope you enjoyed my speech, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.